welcome to Cardiff University webinar on adult, child and mental health nursing. We're very excited to have you here with us today. We've got a panel of experts with you to answer any questions that you may have. Please put them in the Q&A and we will answer them as we go through the webinar, and also we'll have a little bit of time at the end as well if you need to if we need to answer any specific themes. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Nyrsio. I am one of the adult nurse lecturers here at Cardiff University, and I'm also the admissions tutor. I'm going to introduce now to the panel, and first off we have Beth Pittaway.
Hello everybody, lovely to meet you. I'm admissions tutor and lecturer for children's nursing.
Hello, then we have John Hyde.
Hello, yep, so I'm John Hyde. I'm one of the mental health nurse lecturers and also the admissions tutor for the mental health nursing programme. And
we have then Bethan Bridges.
Hi everybody, I'm Bethan Bridges. I'm here to talk to you today about placements and our study abroad opportunity.
Lovely. And then we have the programme lead for adult nursing, Suzanne.
Hi there, welcome. I'm Suzanne Hughes. As Larry says, I'm the programme lead for adult and a senior lecturer in adult nursing.
And then we have Dwynwen Barkland, the programme lead for child health.
Noswaith pawb, good evening everybody. It's lovely to have you here this afternoon. Yes, I'm Dwynwen. I'm the interim programme lead for children's nursing, and I'm also the placement lead for children's nursing.
Lovely. Thank you very much and welcome tonight. This is a panel that we will be talking to you today. And as I said, I'm your host this evening. My name's Nyrsio, and just a quick reminder that please put your questions in the Q&A. And if you have any finance questions, I'm going to direct you to the website, because there are many questions I know about finance, and we could do a webinar on its own over that. So I think there is a link in the Q&A for you to go and have a look at the website, and also there is an email address if you have any specific queries. So this is Cardiff University. I'd like to welcome you. It's a wonderful university, and as it says on the slide, we are a Russell Group. And for those of you who aren't familiar on what a Russell Group is, a Russell Group is the leading group of universities in the UK. There's 24 of us in total, and it basically says that we have a high academic standard, and also we are recognised for our research. Our world-leading research in the UK, and I have to say that we have a very active nursing research department at Cardiff University that really puts forward evidence-based care. So much of our teaching is very much evidence-based and research-based, and you will have opportunities to meet some of the researcher nurses that we have within the university. Cardiff University is a large university. Cardiff is a wonderful student city. We have 28,000 students at any one time across the city, and we'd really like to welcome you to be part of our community. In Cardiff University, we have 26 academic schools, so it's quite a large university, and these are divided into 3 colleges, which are Arts, Humanities and Social Science, and Physical Science and Biomedical and Life Science. Now, if you were to join us here to do nursing, you would be part of the Biomedical and Life Science school. College, so that would mean you would be part of the Healthcare Science School, which is made up of nurses, physios, radiographers and OTs. But then the larger college will be made up of many other healthcare professionals, such as medics and dentistry as well. We very much pride ourselves here at Cardiff University at supporting you throughout your 3 years with us at Cardiff University. You would be given a personal tutor, and your personal tutor would stay with you throughout your 3 years, and we offer pastoral care. So this will be a member of staff who's also registered healthcare and also one of the academic staff who will support you throughout your 3 years. So you will get to know your personal tutor quite well. You will be in a personal tutor group, so you will be a chance for you to meet smaller groups and get to know each other very well and support each other as well. As you can see, there's a picture on the screen. This is our Students' Union building. It's not just a place to socialise, even though I've heard that the price of a pint is very good. It also houses many of the support that we offer students, such as money matters, also careers and employment. We also have a very large health and wellbeing team that can support you throughout the 3 years. And also we have a really active disability service. So what we do there is that if you have a particular disability, what we want you to do is to meet your full potential during your study time with us here at Cardiff University. And the student disability team are there to support you throughout your journey, making any reasonable adjustments we can do for you to make your full potential throughout the 3 years. We understand that coming to university, it's a bit of a step up academically, and we do offer many academic study skills to help you throughout your academic work. And also we offer you a mentoring service so they can support you throughout the 3 years to make sure that you are on track and that we keep an eye on you as well. You will be given an academic assessor who will keep track on how you are doing academically and also in your placements. So as I said, that you would be part of the Healthcare Science, School of Healthcare Science. The Healthcare Science sits in the College of Biomedical and Life Sciences, which I've already explained. And it's about being dynamic, innovative, forward-looking and recognising for its excellence in learning and teaching and research. We are based at the University Hospital of Wales, which is Heath Park, and we also have a new facility opened in January 24. Even though you are not based in the city, you're not far outside with really good transport links. But even on the University Hospital site, we have a Heath Park Students' Union. We have a dedicated IV lounge where you can go and relax and meet other students. We have a very large library and IT support there with different study skill rooms. And also we have a dedicated student support hub. So we definitely want you to feel that you're still having that experience, student experience here in the University Hospital. And there's lots of things for you to get involved in while you're on campus with us. So as I said, Heath Park West, we opened in January 24. It is a state-of-the-art simulation suite, which is dedicated spaces for skills. So it's a safe space where you can learn the skills before going out on community or hospital placements. These are dedicated areas for you to practice your clinical skills with academic staff so that you gain confidence and competence before that you go out. So it's a really lovely space to really try out your skills. We've even got a flat dedicated to support you within the field of community nursing. So we have a whole flat with a kitchen, a bedroom, a lounge and a bathroom. So it gives you that home from home feel when you're teaching you about community nursing and how to care for those who are needing care in their own homes. We've got a 6-bedded ward, which is based on real life wards, and all the clinical apparatus that we use are exactly the same as what you would see in the ward-based clinical placement. So you will be familiar with the equipment, familiar with the environment before you actually go out to placement. We've also got dedicated rooms for manual handling, so to be able to move patients safely, and also for basic life skills to make sure that you are have those skills before you go out into the real world. We've also got some really small little booths which we call communication booths for group work or for study skills that you can access. And of course, we've got a lovely coffee shop and a relaxation area with a microwave and things, so you can bring in your own food if you want to. And many students get together in this environment after they've been in some of the lectures or simulation suites. So key focus for all the nursing progress, this includes adult, child and nurse and mental health. All 3 programs are 3 years long. It's 50% theory, so that means you'd be in university with us having either clinical skills or theory or lectures, and then there'd be 50% that would be in placement. Now, in your first year, when you start with us, we're aware even some of you will not have any healthcare experience, so we don't send you out to placement straight away. You start with us in the September and you wouldn't go out to placement until the January. So we gave you lots of opportunities to learn some of the basic skills before you go out. So in the first year, you'd have 2 placements. The second year, you have 3. And then the third year, by then, you can't wait to be out in clinical placement, and you have longer placements within your third year. So as you go through the 3 years, you have more and more time in clinical placement, which is what we build on. Throughout your 3 years, you'll have something called an EPAD, which is an electronic digital portfolio. So this is what we assess you on while you're in clinical placement. Years ago, it used to be a folder with everything in that you could lose on the bus, but now you can't. It's all digital and it's all safe. And what we do there is every time you go out to a clinical placement, you can record what skills you've done and what kind of experiences you've had. We like you to reflect on what kind of experience you've had within your portfolio. And this stays with you for the 3 years. And it's really a nice way to show your progress throughout the 3 years until you qualify. We unfortunately do need to assess you, but we've got a range of assessments. So if you don't like writing assignments, we do presentation, and also we've got some clinical skills we do. There's not that many exams, so don't worry too much about it. But we do in the third year a dissertation. But this is quite an interesting one that the students do because it's something that they've seen in practice that they feel that can be improved. So we ask you to write about a service improvement. So it's really kind of what you've seen in practice and having a think about what you're really interested in by the third year. Obviously, because we are a Russell Group, and as I said, it is very much research focused, and we look at best practice. So we definitely would like all of your work to be kind of evidence-based, which we encourage you within the first day you arrive. We also provide some interprofessional education. There's opportunities to work with physios, occupational therapists, and also radiotherapists. We also offer, which isn't mandatory, but you can take it up if you can, scenario-based simulation afternoons with the medical teams. So you could do kind of scenarios with the medical students and work as a team to try and find out what's wrong with the patient, which is really quite exciting opportunity. Obviously, working as a child nurse and adult nurse and mental health, we do have some shared modules, so you would see each other on occasions throughout the 3 years. These tend to be kind of the professional models in the first year, the global health model in the second year, and the dissertation model in the third year. We do offer you leadership development. We are very much important to think about leadership within nursing, especially within the third year. We look at your leadership skills, especially because you are about to become a registrant, and we understand that nurses are leaders in their field. So we really instill that into you, especially in the third year. Fitness to practice, we do have a preparing for healthcare guide. It's really important that if you are considering if you are considering nursing, that you have a look at this. We are guided by the Nursing and Midwifery Council, and we do expect our students to adhere to the professional standards of practice and behaviour, the code. So if you are invited for interview, I would suggest you have a little look at that online before you come for interview. But it's really important that you understand that nurses are kind of the face of health, and that we kind of teach you how to be a professional manner as well. We have got a wide range of career opportunities. We support you with obtaining your first job and qualifications, wherever that may be. It's really interesting. I ask my students, my personal students, what they'd like to be when they qualify, and many of them tell me they want A&E or intensive care or cardiac care. And then by the end of the 3 years, because they've experienced so many different opportunities within nursing, quite often they've completely changed their mind. And some of them say, oh, I've got real interest in sexual health or public health or community nursing. So we give you that wide range of opportunities that reflect the careers in nursing that can take you all over the world. And especially if you've got a nursing degree from Cardiff University, it's really highly sought after. So I'm going to pass you over now to Bethan Bridges, who's going to discuss some of the placement opportunities that we do, and also a really exciting opportunity about having a global placement in your second year.
Thank you, Lowry. I apologise for my voice, everybody, a little bit squeaky today. Don't normally sound like this. So, as Lowry has already touched on, 50% of your time at Cardiff University is going to be spent in clinical placement. And I'm sure as budding want-to-be nurses, that will fill you with joy. Okay, so our 2,300 hours of practice that you will do while you're on the programme is split across 7 placement blocks. Placement team and our academic lead, Dr. Tricia Brown, and others for mental health and child as well, work hard to ensure that you have a rounded experience that offers you the opportunity to experience different specialisms within your field of nursing. So for adults and child, for example, you'll have surgical, medical, community, acute areas and specialist areas. And for mental health as well, you'll experience the range of services they've got on offer, such as working age adult services, services for older people, and also community psychiatric nursing services as well. So we arrange those placements for you, and we try to ensure that you have a really broad view of what it is that your chosen field of practice will offer. We use our practice health boards, so that's Cardiff and Vale University Health Board, and Nyrsio and Bevan University Health Board, and Velindre NHS Trust as well, which all sit within the South Wales area. You are expected to travel up to an hour away for placements from your term time address, and you will be given support with that as well. Okay, so sorry, it's only the final placement of your 3rd year that you would be able to request a specialist area, and that is considering you planning for your future career. However, all placements run on a hub and spoke arrangement, meaning that we will allocate you a hub opportunity, somewhere where you will go, where you'll be supported by a practice supervisor and practice assessor to achieve the competencies that you need to achieve in clinical practice. But you'll also have the opportunity while you're there to either self-arrange spoke placements or be supported to arrange spoke placements. And a spoke placement would be an alternative area where you spend anywhere from a few hours to a few days that would give you that sort of all-over experience of healthcare. So, for example, if you're going out with the community nurses or health visitors or CPNs, you might spend a spoke in a GP's practice, observing a practice nurse for the day to see how those services are actually interlinked and how they might link up. As we said, you are given lots of opportunity while you're on your clinical placement, and you will have a named practice supervisor and named practice assessor that will support you in your journey within that practice. Okay. The other thing that I just wanted to talk to you about briefly today is our practice optional learning opportunity. So this is a placement that happens in your second year. It is a reasonably unique experience to Cardiff University, and this is your opportunity to have a placement that is either outside of our health board, so anywhere within the UK, or anywhere across the world, as long as it's deemed a safe area for you to visit. So these are self-arranged and self-funded, but we do help you, we give you briefings, etc. But it is an opportunity for you to sort of extend your global scope, and for you to grow your cultural competence as well. So to experience different ways of practicing and share good experience, good practice from your experience as well. So this year, next year, we're almost at the end of this year, in 2026, we've got nursing students going to Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Sweden, and Bristol. So it really is up to you about where you go for those, and what sort of experience you want to have. So, for example, if you wanted to go to a specialist area, we always use Morriston Hospital as an example. So that's in Swansea, so it's outside of our health board, but they have a specialist burns service there. So if you are particularly interested in burns nursing as an adult nurse, then you could arrange to go on a placement there. So the opportunities are really endless. We also recognise that it's not going to be an option for every student to fund an abroad placement or a placement outside of our health boards. So those that don't go on that experience will have a placement arranged for them, as with all the others. But we do aim for you to benefit from the experience through our exchange and learning sessions. So we have students come from all over the world to visit us as well. And we like to give opportunities for you to spend time with them. And we also like to give you the opportunity to hear from other students that have had the opportunity to do a polo placement, and for them to share their learning with you. So a really exciting opportunity that I hope that you think is something that you might like to do. That's all from me. Back to Lowry now.
Thank you, Beth. It's really, I have to say, I've got some personal students who went to Sri Lanka last year, and I have to say, I every time I see them, I hear a different story of their experiences, and they really did benefit from it, and learnt a lot about themselves as well. And what we do with that is this opportunity comes just before the Easter holidays. So many of the students then tag it on to do a little bit of travelling afterwards, which is a nice way of spending your Easter holidays. And they tend to go in groups as well, so they support each other while they're away. So they had a whale of a time, I have to say. Right, thank you, Beth. Now I'm going to talk to you who are specifically interested in adult nursing, just for the next kind of 5-10 minutes. Because I'm the adult nursing tutor, I just want to explain that adult nursing crosses all ages and stages of life. So anybody above the age of 16, all the way to our centenarians. You will be caring for them throughout their stages of life. And as you can imagine, different stages come with different difficulties. So we teach you lots of the holistic care and person-centered care. So even though we give you a really good guidance on disease and the human body and anatomy and physiology while you're with us at Cardiff University studying, we also show that actually it's not the disease that depicts the person, it's the person that we should be concentrating on. So every patient will have different needs and different social experiences, different mental health issues. So they come as a package, and what we teach you while you're here at Cardiff University is to look at the person and look at what their needs are in a holistic way. So looking at all areas of their life. and also while they're in hospital, you know, thinking about their families and their situation and things like that. So we'd like to welcome that we instill that quite a lot in you. So it's not just about being acute care, about being in hospital, your placements. And as a nurse, if you ask any of us on this panel today, we've all had very different journeys. I'm actually a specialist in community public health. So I have gone on to do extra qualifications in public health. So I'm one of the people who want to keep people out of hospitals. And we very much want you to embrace that as well. It's not just about caring for those who are ill, it's actually about promoting self-care and promoting health and lifestyle choices. And obviously, you know, sometimes people become acutely unwell, so you may have that short therapeutic relationship with somebody in A&E or in the admissions unit. And then sometimes you may get a really strong therapeutic relationship over a longer period of time where somebody has a debilitating condition that is affecting them long term. And quite often this is in the community where you will get to know they're in their own homes and with their families. And this can be really rewarding as well. So diverse environments. So as I said, you could be in A&E, you could be in ICU, you could be in specialist area. We have neurology, we have cardiac, we have many different specialities that you can access while you're here on placement. You can spend time with specialist nurses. You can go to sexual health clinics. We do have placements in prisons as well, which is quite interesting. You can go out with the district nurses and the health visitors as well, if you have the opportunity. And also we are here in Cardiff are lucky enough to have one of the largest cancer hospitals in Wales, which is in a trust in itself with really specialised care and hospices that are attached to Velindre. So you could have an opportunity to spend some time there as well. Now I'm going to introduce you to Hannah. Now Hannah is one of our adult nursing students, and I'd like her just to explain some of the placement opportunities she's had while she's been here with us. She's currently at the end of her second year, about to go into her third year. And I'm hoping Hannah will just explain to you her experiences in placement.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think because you were just talking about Velindre, I was like lucky enough to have a placement in Velindre at the start of this year. And it was really good because like obviously there's loads of different types of like specialist nurses there, and like I got to spend some time with like the specialist palliative care nurses, which was really interesting, and like in like the different areas in Velindre as well, because they have like their own assessment centre and like their own like ambulatory care where people come in and like get treatment during the day and go home. So it's like seeing like different types of like how care was delivered and stuff there was really interesting. And then I've also had placement at the minute. I'm on placement in the assessment unit in the University Hospital Wales, which has been really good. And it's very busy and very acute, and it's I'm managing like patients that are like quite unwell, so like that's very good experience as well to see how like that's managed in hospital. And I've also like had the chance to go down to like majors in A&E and things with my practice supervisor, so I'm still working with them, but just in like a different area of the hospital, and being in A&E has been quite interesting as well.
Yeah. Have you had any community placements, Hannah?
No,
Not
I
yet.
have not yet.
No.
Next year.
So where were you in your first year? What was your first placement?
So I had care of the elderly for my first placement in the Gwent in Newport, and I think like that was quite a good first placement because like it's really good for like getting like the fundamentals of care down and stuff. And you're able to spend quite a lot of time with the patients and things and like talking to them in bits and pieces, and then it's like going forward you can like continue like building on that, but like it's quite good. It gets you used to like helping people with like personal hygiene needs and things, so you can like carry that with you throughout the rest of like your placements, and you feel a bit more like confident in delivering that care to people. And then I had a placement in vascular surgery, which was really interesting, and I really, really enjoyed that. And it was one of my favorite placements that I've had, because like it was just busy, and I got the opportunity to go and watch some like surgeries and like follow people through like their surgical journey as well, and like seeing them like pre-op and post-op and in recovery and bits and pieces, which was nice because you get like a better understanding of how that whole process works as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting to see somebody's journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah. So you can see from Hannah's had quite a range of opportunities there. But when you come to a career in adult nursing, it can take you anywhere. We have many colleagues who've worked abroad in Australia and America, and it can a degree from Cardiff University can take you all over the world to do whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to pass you now to Beth Prittaway, who's going to talk to you, those who are interested in doing child nursing.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I am going to talk to you a little bit about children's nursing. So as a children's nurse, we look after babies from the moment they're born, and that could be from term or preterm. So when we look after children who are premature or before their due date, and sometimes quite significantly before their due date, we look after them in the neonatal intensive care unit or the special care baby unit, depending on how poorly they are. And then we obviously look after a massive age range then of children. And the only exception to my general rule, which is that we look after children really up until their 16th birthday. However, when we have children who are in our healthcare system who have chronic, life-limiting conditions, we generally can look after them up until the age of 18 until we kind of have that transition of care and handover over to adult services. What we also have in Cardiff is the Teenage Cancer Trust unit, which is a placement opportunity for you if you would like to come to Cardiff University. In the Teenage Cancer Trust unit, we look after young people up until the age of 25. So generally it's from the age of 0 to 16, but there are a couple of exceptions to that rule. Quite generically in nursing, we use the term patient-centred care, but in paediatrics specifically, we use the term family-centred care because children generally don't really kind of rock up to hospital on their own type thing. Sometimes they do, but generally they are attached to some kind of family structure. So any kind of care at all that we give to children has to involve whoever it is that they live with ultimately, or has legal, like some kind of legal guardianship, I suppose, over them. So it could be, a quite normal kind of family structure, but we also look after a lot of children who are in the foster care system and that sort of thing as well. And we come across, these children in all settings, and you will come across those kinds of children as well when you go on any of your placements. And speaking of placements then, we also have a couple of special schools in our community placements. So our special schools are run, well, they have special school nurses. So we have a generic kind of school nursing system, if you like, who will deliver things like your flu clinics and that kind of stuff. Like that's the kind of generic kind of thing that you probably think of when you think of a school nurse. And then in our special schools, these are schools for children who have like profound, quite significant, complex needs. And these children will have gastrostomies or nasogastric tubes, and they might have seizures, and they might have multiple seizures a day, and that's quite normal. But it means that the role of a specialist school nurse is actually far more clinical in some ways, and a bit more complicated. And they are wonderful placements that our students have been on, and they really, really have reported, fantastic feedback about those types of placements. Also in the community, we have a children's continuing care team as well. So Lowry earlier talked about how obviously community nursing is obviously quite big. We want to keep people out of hospital, but that is also the same for children's nursing too. So we have now got quite a large population of children who have complex needs because of our advanced medical technology and that sort of thing. We're keeping children alive far longer than we were 20, 30 years ago. And it means that there are children living now into adulthood that, and their teenage adolescents that wouldn't have previously. But they have chronic ongoing care needs. So, community children's nursing is a growing kind of setting, if you like, growing phenomenon, which is quite an exciting thing, really, in terms of where your career could kind of go if that's what you wanted and that's what you were thinking about. Another special placement really that we've got is T Haven, and that's a hospice, and that's run by a charity. So that's not attached to like our health boards or the NHS specifically. It's a solely run setting by T Haven is a charity. So children who attend T Haven go there for respite, and again those are T Haven is for children who have complex care needs, who may well have a life-limiting illness. So it might be that they go there for palliative care or end-of-life care and that sort of thing. And I guess perhaps when some people might think of children's nursing and not really think about the possibility of children like dying, really. And I suppose children generally don't die, but it does happen, and it is so important that we have settings like T Haven and things in place really in acute settings too, to ensure that actually when children do die we get it right, because it's really, really important. In Cardiff University, we've got quite a small team really in our children's nursing team. So there's only 7 of us, which means that you would get to know us really, really well if you came here, and we get to know you too, which is really nice. And we all have quite a varied background in terms of our clinical experience, before we came into lecturing and that sort of thing. So you really benefit from like our own expertise, if that makes sense. And on the course as well, we're really quite passionate about delivering clinical skills to you from the perspective of paediatric nursing too, because we feel that if you've chosen children's nursing, then we feel that if what am I trying to say? We feel that if you've chosen children's nursing, then if we can make theory or skills as applicable to paediatric nursing as possible, then that is what we aim to do. Sorry, I have rambled on quite a lot. I'll now hand over to John. Sorry, thank you.
Thanks, Beth. So for those of you who are interested in mental health nursing, this is John Hyde, who's going to explain to you a little bit about it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, welcome all to this webinar this evening. Yeah, I suppose the question that is quite a challenging one really is, what does a mental health nurse do? Partly because it's difficult to answer, because there's so many different kind of varieties of mental health nursing in different locations, different age spans, different specialities, etc. That it's kind of difficult to cover it all in a short space of time, but I'll attempt to do that anyway. So first of all, we work across the entire age span. So that can be from child and adolescent mental health services, so usually sort of from teenage years up to around the age of 16 to 18. We have what we call working age adult services, which is from the age of that 16 to 18 plus up to 65, with a whole variety of different kind of mental health kind of conditions, ranging from kind of mood disorders such as anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, psychosis, such as schizophrenia. We also work with people with drug and alcohol problems. We also have kind of services for people who've had what's called acquired brain injury as well. And then we have the age range of 65 plus, which again is for people with a whole range of kind of mental health conditions, because all those things such as anxiety, depression, etc. don't stop at 65. But I guess in that age range from 65 plus, you're working with people who may have various different forms of cognitive issues, usually in the form of kind of dementia, or perhaps through some form of required sort of brain injury as well. So I'd say probably a large proportion, and this may come as a surprise to some people, a large proportion of mental health care is working with older adults. So also thinking about where we work as mental health nurses, and I did put on this slide different kind of pictures to kind of illustrate some of the variety of the different places. And that ranges from the inpatient settings to people's home settings to courts. It can be to schools, it can be seeing people in their home, it can be seeing people in accident and emergency departments. It can be that we have services also that go and visit people that are kind of an alternative to ambulance services for mental health. So the huge kind of variety. The other thing I would say is that at least half of our placements and half of our mental health care goes on in the community settings. So again, often there may be the traditional image of mental health care in terms of psychiatric hospitals, but most of what we do actually is not in hospitals, not in the inpatient units. So from my own background, I worked across a whole range of different things from the inpatient setting, but most of my career before coming into the academic field was working in a community health nursing setting. So that was visiting people at home or people coming in to see me in clinic, delivering a wide variety of medications or other therapeutic kind of approaches. I would also say that because we are working with people who may have complex needs in that community setting or in that older adult kind of where they may have cognitive issues, we may be also involved in providing a wide variety of health and social care packages for people. So I would say, particularly in the community setting, our role does have a strong overlap and we work quite closely with social services, and there are kind of blurred boundaries, I think, in some settings between the role of a mental health nurse and the role of a social worker. So those are the kind of bread and butter placements, but we also, as I sort of hinted earlier, have a wide variety of what we call speciality placements. So every person that studies at Cardiff University mental health nursing will have that inpatient experience, they'll have that community nursing experience, they will work with working age adults, they will work with older adults. They may work with CAMS, they may also do other specialties, such as the things I mentioned, like acquired brain injury, drug and alcohol services. Another thing that often is of interest to people is what's called forensic services. So people who come into mental health care through the criminal justice system. So that may be to specialist sort of medium secure units. There is also sometimes students get to go for spoke placements to visit Cardiff prison as well to see about sort of mental health care within that setting. So those are just some of the specialities. I also said about there's community mental health nursing, but again, there's a whole variety within that services, ranging from seeing people in accident emergency who come into need help in a crisis situation. We have crisis teams that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing a level of care that would be equivalent to an inpatient service. We have what's called assertive outreach services. We have early intervention services for people who have developed a serious mental illness such as schizophrenia, perhaps during the first 3 to 5 years of their post-diagnosis, to provide intensive care and support during that time. We have kind of day units. residential kind of units. We visit people, or we work also in nursing homes. So the things that we are doing as mental health nurses, learning a wide range of things, I think central to what we do is communication with our patients, communication with our colleagues, learning about different forms of therapies and therapeutic forms of communication. So we do borrow heavily on things such as cognitive behavioral therapy, motivational interviewing. So we don't train you to be a therapist, but we do show you how to use some of the skills and techniques from these different approaches. We talk about the different kind of illnesses and issues that you'll encounter in mental health, the different kind of therapies, the different medications and other forms of treatments that can be provided. We often also work very much within a legal and professional aspect, and I guess what is perhaps more prevalent in the mental health setting, working with people who may be in hospital, sometimes against their own will, detained under conditions of the Mental Health Act, which also provides an interesting kind of issue around legalities and ethical issues around kind of treatment and care. What Larry, just as a last thing, Larry mentioned earlier about research within healthcare, and it's something that within our mental health team that we've also had a high profile in terms of our research background within the kind of mental health. And that has been ongoing for some years and continues to be so, one of the big feature of our course as well. Okay, so that's, I think, in a nutshell, my mental health nursing spiel, and I'll pass you back to, I think it's Lowry, is it back to you?
Thank you, John. Hopefully you've seen kind of an all-rounding in adult, child and mental health nursing. So we're just going to finish off now. I've got a specific question for Dwynwen, who's the programme lead for child nursing, children's nursing. And what I'd like to ask you, Dwynwen, is what are the main characteristics of a successful student on one of our nursing programmes?
Okay, I'll try and keep this concise. So I would say certainly we would be looking for students who have strong caring values and attributes. It's really important as nurses, obviously, in the future, that you are able to demonstrate that you have empathy and compassion, and that you can show dignity and respect to patients. And I think you mentioned earlier, Laurie, that even as students that we do expect you to work in line with the NMC Code of Conduct. So professionalism is a really important attribute to have, even as a student. You are, in essence, training, for a professional qualification. So we do expect you to work in line with the code. As a student. Communication, I think, is really important. I think it underpins everything that we do as nurses. Without good communication, it's difficult to build that therapeutic relationship with patients that a number of people have mentioned already this evening. We talked about sort of patient-centred care, person-centred care, family-centred care, and how do we provide that without building a relationship with our patients to start with and our families to start with? So it's important to develop that, our communication skills. And it's also important because as nurses, we very rarely work on our own. We're always part of a team. So we need to also be able to communicate with others, with other professionals, doctors, other nurses, physios, OTs, speech and language. We are all always working as part of a team. I always think of healthcare as a jigsaw, and we are all bits and pieces of that jigsaw, and we have to sometimes look at the bigger picture. And as nurses, we are often at the heart of that care. So we have to learn how to liaise and communicate with others to provide holistic care to others. We have to develop good time management and organisation, not only whilst we're out on placement as students, so that you're learning how to prioritise care so that our patients that we deliver time-effective care to our patients, but as students, you could be juggling lots of different things. Some of you might have families, some of you might have children that you need to, take into account. You might also be out on placement. You may also at the same time have an assignment to write. I don't want to put any of you off now, okay? But it's important to have that time management skills so that you can manage all the elements of the programme, but also, very importantly, have times for yourselves as well. Okay, it's important. I think, Suzanne, you've put in the chat that you are, Cardiff is a vibrant, friendly city. We want you to experience that as students, as well as be successful at the programme. So again, thinking about time management and making sure that you've got time to enjoy everything that Cardiff and Cardiff University has to offer to you, all the societies, all the clubs, the nights out, the nursing society. They arrange lots of different charity events and all of this. So it's important that you sort of develop that organisation so that you can participate in everything that Cardiff has to offer to you. Okay, and that will then hopefully help you to develop some resilience as well. It's important, you can come across difficult situations on placements, situations that you may not have come across before. You might find working academically at a higher level than you've done before being a little bit overwhelming. So it's important that you develop that resilience. And that you also develop, that you are able to reach out and ask for help when you need it. There is lots of support available to you at Cardiff University. So you need to learn how to ask for help when you need it. We're not telepathic. So reach out so that we can provide the support that you need. And finally, I guess what we want are students that are committed, motivated and passionate. Whether you want to be an adult nurse, a children's nurse or a mental health nurse, we want to see that passion, that we want to see that you want to provide that high quality care when you're out on placement and you're eager to learn and develop and progress. And that you take that with you as newly qualified nurses and continue to be innovative and think of research and continue to sort of deliver high quality care when you're qualified as well. I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Dwynwen. That's a very comprehensive answer. Lovely. They've probably taken a lot from there, which will help them if they come for interview. Okay, Suzanne, who's the programme lead for adult nursing, I have a question for you, which is, what are the expectations for a nursing student in each year of the degree? So how does it change as they go through the 3 years?
Hey, that's a really good question, Lowry. Expectations of nursing students. Okay. I think already it's been touched on that students aren't just doing a degree, they're doing or they're working towards a professional registration with a nursing midwifery council that gives them just a degree, but also the ability to be able to practice as a nurse on completion of the 3 years. So there is, in essence, a professional responsibility of all students to meet the requirements of that programme. It's not easy. It's going to be challenging for some. And importantly, it's getting that work-life balance, I think, correct. And again, Dwynwen has already said something to the effect of our students these days are from a range of diverse backgrounds, very different from when I trained in the 1980s. We have our students are of all ages, of all, and have a range of external commitments that they already have. And as an example, again, Dwynwen has mentioned this, many of our students have families, they have children, so those are external implications that can impact on doing your actual work. A lot of our students are also carers. They may be carers to family, to children or anything. So there are other external commitments that students have, you know. There's also, because this is a professional programme and not just an academic degree, you know, it's a full-time programme. And what people have to realise is that it's full-time in class when students are in theory, you know, and attendance for all theory is mandatory, and students are expected to attend every class punctually and inform us if and when they are absent. There's also, you know, clinical placement requirements. It's not just coming up to theory for 8 weeks and we do 9 to 5. You've got long clinical placements that you will also be required to attend fully, and again that is mandatory in order for you to be able to qualify and practice as a qualified nurse going forward. Time management strategies are certainly expectations through each year of the programme, and that's easier said than done, and we all get that, you know, but however it will be really will be worth it when you've finished. I think from a personal perspective, you know, we do expect our students through each year to have good health and good character. And when students are admitted to the programme, they are expected to they are required to have an assessment by occupational health, and that means having good physical and mental health with reasonable fitness as well. We don't expect everybody to be athletes, but we do expect people to have some a modicum of good physical and mental health. Again, attendance, I've just mentioned that. Your conduct at the very beginning when Lowry mentioned fitness to practice, you know, again, we're very different in the health professions about what we do, because when we register with our governing bodies, and for nursing, that is the Nursing and Midwifery Council, we have to ensure that our conduct is exceptional, and therefore we must have to act responsibly and maintain appropriate standards of personal behaviour at all times, and that is even outside work as well. You know, that's whilst you're in university, whilst you're doing placements, and also in your free time, which sometimes comes as a bit of a shock to some students. Furthermore, you know, your conduct and acting responsibly also relates to information about the university, the staff and students, and images perhaps posted on social media websites. Okay, so that's another sort of expectation. We expect you to adhere to uniform policy. We expect you to check your emails regularly and answer them and ensure sound email etiquette. But again, and perhaps finally, we do expect you to be able to complete your assignments on time and according to instruction. Again, you'll be juggling all of this, but it is very much doable, you know, again, with time management strategies in place, and ensuring that as you go year on year, you maintain or even develop actually that commitment, that compassion, and that comparing approach to nursing. I don't think I've got anything else.
Thanks, Suzanne. That was great. I'm going to.
Can I just add also?
Oh yeah, carry on.
When you come to Cardiff, you really will be supportive. We are a fantastic team of university lecturers, you know, across the spectrum of field, adult, child and mental health. We all work very closely together. We want the best for our students, you know, and you really will be supported in every way. So hopefully, you know, this webinar will you know, motivate people to apply, to come to us.
Thank you, Suzanne. Right, so we're going to have a little look at the questions in the chat, see if there's anything that we haven't answered throughout the webinar. But I hope we've given you a full-rounded view of nursing at Cardiff, and we really would encourage you to apply. We're a really close-knit community here, and coming to Cardiff to do your nursing will be a wonderful experience. I'm going to stop sharing. There we are. And so, Suzanne, have any of you looked in the chat? I haven't managed to look in the chat to see if there's anything particular we need to answer.
I'm just looking through now, Larry. I can see a question from Gareth. Can you choose your placements for adult? Students are able to choose their final placement, not the actual specific placement as in a ward, but they get the opportunity to ask what perhaps what specialty they would like to work in, you know, what health board, because, you know, we can't, you know, so hopefully, and I know for a fact that the majority of students get that. It's in extreme circumstances that they don't. But yeah, they get to choose the health board, the speciality, and maybe even, you know, the hospital that they can. But that's only for the final placement. Otherwise, the logistics of operating that for every placement would just be too much.
Yeah, and it's really important that they get each placement that's in a variety of settings. So you get the all-rounded opportunities, where if we only put you on a particular ward every time, you wouldn't have the range and breadth of the experience of nursing. So it's really important that you have the opportunities to have different settings as your placements, so community specialised, maybe rehabilitation. So it's really important that you get the full range. So that's why we ensure that all students get those opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other questions that are particular needing to be answered?
I think there was the one question that I hadn't got to. Trying to think now. Do you offer the nursing course in Welsh? So I haven't. Some of the other ones I've written.
Right. So I can answer this.
Yeah.
We don't particularly offer it in Welsh, but we do offer some. If you say that you're a Welsh speaker, we can interview you in Welsh. We've got many of our nursing lecturers here at Cardiff University that are fluent in Welsh. So we can interview you in Welsh. And what we do is when you arrive, we put you in personal tutor groups together with other Welsh speakers, with a Welsh speaking personal tutor, and you will also have the opportunity to submit your work in Welsh and be marked and we would provide the feedback in Welsh. So if you've been used to a Welsh education all the way through and you're happier writing in Welsh because it's your first language, we are happy to mark in Welsh. I hope that answers that question. So I think we've come to the end. It's gone 6 o'clock. So I would like to thank the panel for your attendance today and being helpful. And I would like to say thank you for everybody who's been attended. If you've got any specific questions, please email the admissions team and we'd be happy to answer any queries that you have. And hopefully I will see you soon for when you apply to Cardiff University to do nursing. Nos da.
Nos da.